Hi, I'm Richard Maraj, Senior Minister at Unity of Phoenix Spiritual Center, and I want to thank you for visiting our website and for tuning in to today's message. If you feel inspired by today's talk, I really encourage you to make a donation by hitting that button below and making a contribution to this ministry. It'll allow us to continue these messages online and to do the great work we do here at Unity of Phoenix, which is to inspire people to live better lives. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for your support, and we hope to see you at a Sunday real soon.
Morning again, everyone. And a shout out to anybody who tunes in and watches us online during the week. Welcome to each and every one of you. So there was this African king who had a very close friend of his that he grew up with, and the friend had this habit of, in any situation, whether it went positively or negatively, to always say, this is good. So one day he and the king are hunting, and the friend is preparing the guns for the king to shoot, and it goes back and forth a few times, and the friend makes a mistake somehow, and when the king shoots with one of the guns, his thumb gets blown off. And in regular fashion, he said, this is good. The king said, this is not good, and throws him in jail. So a year later, the king is out hunting again and goes into territory he probably shouldn't have, and he gets caught by these cannibals. And they tie him up, and they're about to burn him at the stake when they notice his thumb is missing. And superstitiously, they don't eat anything that isn't whole and complete, so they let him go free. So by the time he gets back to his kingdom, he is like, wow, really grateful and thankful. And he thinks about the time that his thumb got blown off, and he thought to himself about his friend and how poorly he treated his friend. So he went over to the jail, and he said, hey, you were absolutely right. My thumb getting blown off, it was good because it saved my life today. And he tells him about the cannibals and the whole story, and he says, I'm so sorry for sending you to jail for so long. I mean, that was really bad of me to do. And the friend said, no, this is good. And the king said, what do you mean this is good? How could it be good that I sent my friend to jail for a year? And the friend says, well, if I was not in jail, I would have been there with you today. So, all right. So today we're talking about decluttering and getting rid of things that don't serve us any longer, and that's why I told that joke. It clearly is old and needs to be getting rid of. Discarding it. So how many people here have a cupboard, a closet, or a drawer that is so crammed and full you're kind of afraid to open it? Anybody have one of those? I mean, how many people, and the thought of cleaning and organizing that cupboard or drawer or closet, just the thought of it mentally exhausts you and kind of gets you depressed? How many people have so much stuff that you often wish you just had more space for your stuff? We have a lot of stuff, and it often creates a lot of clutter in our lives, whether we realize it or not. Here is a clutter quiz. I want you to see if you identify with any of these. How many people in here have a drawer full of Tupperware, yogurt, or butter container lids that do not match the containers? Anybody have any of those? How many people have some clothes that are no longer in fashion or don't fit, but you're still hanging on, hoping one day you'll wear them again? How many people have bookshelves that are a combination of other books you've read and books you will never read? Anybody? How many people have a bicycle in the garage or exercising equipment somewhere that you have not used in at least a year? And then the final clutter question is, how many people have plastic bags filled with plastic bags somewhere in your house? If you are, you might be a pat rack or a clutteraholic. We laugh at that because we know it's true, that we all do that. We have that in common. The interesting thing is, it's actually getting worse. Studies show that even though families overall over years have gotten smaller and smaller, our houses has increased. We have more square footage because we have more and more stuff. We always want more stuff to the point that we're filling our basements, we're filling attics, we're filling garages, we're filling storage units that aren't even on the same grounds as our home. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. And we always get like more stuff thinking it's going to make our lives better. But actually having so much stuff actually makes our lives a little bit worse. It makes it a little more crowded. It puts more focus and attention on our stuff and actually reduces our ability to enjoy it. It pulls us from the actual kind of life that we really want to live. So today we're going to start a 2-week series on a book entitled The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. The life-changing magic of tidying up. And part 1 is going to be called Get Your House in Order. How many people have read this book or heard of this book? Okay, cool. I love this book. Now, this woman, Marie Kondo, from the time she was 5, she was fascinated with organizing and cleaning up. She would come home from school, and most kids would go play. She would go organize something. And at 15, she started studying, religiously different techniques of organizing. And what she did was develop her own technique and her own method that she says is so powerful, it will transform your life, that it is magical. If you have two things, the right mindset and use the right technique, hers, that it will literally, what a coincidence, it would literally change and transform your life. It will not only just reduce clutter and help you get organized, but it'll create more ease and flow, and you will have a more fulfilling life. She absolutely believes it will change and transform your life. And she is talking tidying with a capital T, not picking something up that and then putting it back in its place. She is talking capital T, which stands for transformation. It will transform your life. And so she does some stuff of saying that we have some poor ideas and misbeliefs, like that we're messy, I'm not organized, I can never do this. She said with the right mindset and right technique, it'll work. She said we believe things like you should just do a little bit a day, one room at a time, a little bit ongoing. And she says that'll keep you on a cycle forever of every 6 months or a year. Keep cleaning up, and you'll get more junk, and you'll keep doing it. She says that is not the way to do it. Her technique is this: do it all at once. Do it all at once. Make it an event. That if you really want to transform your life, she says dramatic change all at once of our, of picking and choosing everything in our house. That dramatic quick change will actually change your mind. Because the other one, you keep in your pattern, you just keep doing small things and you keep repeating it. But she said if you transform it once, and if you're that committed to make it an event, if you are that serious and ready to be changed and to have your life flow in a different way, if you're really that ready to do it all, it will transform your life. Second thing she says is do things by category, not location. Don't go room to room. Start with a particular thing and complete it all, and then move to the next thing. Because sometimes we have things in different places. Like how many people have so much clothes that you have clothes in other closets of other bedrooms other than your own bedroom? Anybody have like so much? So she says we should get all of our stuff together in one room. And then the third thing she says is that it isn't about storage, it's about discarding. She said when we think of getting organized, first thing we do, we buy those Rubbermaid tubs, we get all these organizing things. And she said what we're really doing is relocating and reorganizing junk that we don't need. It is like actually just organized hoarding is basically what it is. And it actually doesn't help because all that clutter is actually still there. So here's what she says. Take all your clothes, we'll start with clothes. That's the first one she said. All your clothes and put it on your bed. Get it from every location. Put all your clothes on your bed all at once. And here's reason number one, because you will finally know exactly what you actually have. That sometimes because they're in different locations, there's duplications, there's all kinds of things we actually don't know what's going on. It actually sucks up a lot more energy than we realize. That it's important to know what you have. For you to manage what you have, to organize and to choose what you want and don't want, you have to know what you have. Like for me, the other day, I'm always kind of running out of peanut butter, and I put peanut butter either in my fridge or in this particular cupboard. And I was thinking to myself, gosh, I need more peanut butter. And then about 2 days later, I was looking for something else and went in a cupboard I usually go in, and what did I find? 2 peanut butters and an almond butter. I had way more peanut butter and butters of all nut kinds than I realized. And this is how it is with our lives. We end up finding things we didn't because we don't know what we have. And the second thing about all things, all of it, all at once, is to not just know what we have, but to know how much we have. Could you imagine if you took all your clothes from all of its locations and threw it on your bed, how high that pile would be? I mean, it is absolutely amazing. We have a ton of stuff. We often think that we don't have enough, we need more, more, more. If you piled up all your clothes, you'd realize you live in a world of abundance. In fact, even excess. It is absolutely amazing. We keep wanting more and more, even though we have so much. And it's important to realize how much we have. I mean, she was telling a story about somebody who had 160 pairs of shoes, 10 sets of jeans. I mean, that some of them have thrown away bags of clothes, like 12 garbage bags full of clothes. I mean, it is amazing how much stuff we have. And the question is, when is enough enough? We have this idea that if some is good, more is better, and too much is just perfect. We love stuff. Keep cramming it in, thinking it's going to bring us more and more happiness, and yet that's abundance. We have an abundance and even an overabundance of stuff in our lives, and yet our mind keeps thinking lack, not enough, got to get more. And so the thing I like about this method is that it brings you face to face with your stuff. But I'm not talking clothes. It brings us face to face with realizing what our choices have been, how we've chosen to spend our money, of the things that we like and don't like. It tells us about our styles. It tells us about who we were and who we want to be. It tells us a lot. See, our closets and our lives reflect our kind of mindset and our values. And so when we start this process, it's because the four things need to happen. We need to be aware of what we have, be responsible for it, reassess, and then reset. Socrates once said, the unexamined life is not worth living, which really means life is so worthy of living. We need to examine and look at how we're living it. That we need to really ask ourselves, do I want to keep living this way, cramming all my clothes in places? Do I just want to keep getting more and more and not purging or releasing? I mean, is this lifestyle, as it relates to my clothes and how I have my home, really working for me? Is it supporting the kind of joy and the life that I really want to have? And she says, before we get onto that, we ask those questions, we got to get clear. What is it do you want? We all want to tidy. We tend to do it every 6 months. So what would be the benefit you're looking for? What would be the change that would make a difference? What is it that would improve your life? What is it that would be better? And so she says that's a very important thing for us to think about. What is it that we want our lives, particularly our home life, to look like? And so she was talking to one of her clients, and her client said, well, what I would like is it to be more feminine. She says, well, what do you mean by that? And this is what her client said. I would like to come home to a clutter-free home that looks as beautiful as a hotel suite, with a pink bedspread, white antique lamp. I would like classical music playing while I'm doing my yoga, and then be able to sit in a nice, beautiful place while I drink some herbal tea. Then take a bath with my favorite aromatherapy oils and relax before I go to bed. And I thought, wow. But Marie Kondo loved the answer, because we always talk about creating our vision and our goals, and yet we don't always think of what would I like my home to look like and feel like? What would the flow of my home be ideally, to support the kind of life I really want to live? And she said, even go a little further, not just your vision, what you want, but why? And the why could be because I want to feel comforted and nurtured in my own home. I want to feel safe and pampered and taken care of. And ultimately, what we want is we want to treat ourselves well. There are other areas of our lives we can't control, but in our home, I mean, what it's calling us to do is, how do you want to care for you? How do you want to love you so you can be your best in all the things you do and to support all the people in your life? Something as I got more into this, I realized this was more than just clothes. This was a deeper look at how we're living our lives, how we're showing up, and particularly, how are we treating ourselves? Our level of self-care, our level of support, our level of love, and how much we're able to give of ourselves, give to ourselves. So after we get that, the next one is to discard. We are really not good at letting go. We believe in holding on as much as possible. And it's hard for us. Sometimes it's like a vice grip for us to let go of stuff of all kinds, including clothes. You ever, going through that process like, oh no, but I love that. I know it's old, but I love it. I know it's got holes, but I love that. Or, my mom or my uncle gave me that. I got to keep that. It's like, how much money that costs? I am keeping that. I mean, we have all kinds of excuses, and we all have lists of them, and we just won't let it go. Regardless of how much pile high that bed thing is, we don't want to let it go. Emmett Fox once said this. He said, if you can't let go, you can't make spiritual progress. And here's my thing. If we have a hard time letting go of a blouse or an outfit, how harder would it be to let go of the past? To let go of some resentment? To let go of some old dream? To let go of some limiting idea about your self-worth. Letting go is a powerful thing. And if we can't do it in our own home with our own stuff, when will we do it? Sometimes we're very attached to stuff and to certain things, but shouldn't be attached to all of the things to the point that we aren't willing to let any go. Remember that story of the rich man who, he asked you, how do I inherit eternal life? How to get eternal life? And Jesus said, well, sell all your possessions and come and follow me. And he walked away very sad because he wasn't giving up his stuff. He had stuff, but he didn't really have stuff. His stuff had him. And let me ask you the question. You think Jesus really wanted him to be poor? You think Jesus wanted to have nothing? What he really wanted was him to be free. He wanted him to find peace. That place where you could let go of some things, but still know there is a deeper truth, and real joy and happiness doesn't come from that stuff. Yes, enjoy it, but it is not the source of happiness. And it should holding on to things and being attached to them should never prevent us from experiencing peace and love and joy. So what things you need to let go of, and are you willing to even just start with the practice of letting go of certain things in terms of our clothing? The other thing about letting go that I think is important is often when we think of letting go, we think we're losing it. I don't have any more. I've got less. It's depleting me. Actually, we have more peace, more energy, more joy. It doesn't actually deplete us. It makes us feel lighter and brighter and more joyful. On Friday, I did half of my closet. And just even that half of my closet, well, I walk into my closet now with my right eye closed and just my left eye open, so I only see that side. So that's helping a lot. But I have to tell you, even half of a closet with only 30 or 40 pieces less makes me feel lighter. In fact, sometimes it's relief. People reach a certain age and then they downsize, and most of them feel relief. I don't have to keep putting all that energy in managing all that stuff and taking care of all that stuff. And the thing is, it robs us of energy now. Letting go and discarding is one of the most powerful practices spiritually, physically, emotionally. And if we can't do it in our own home with our clothes, how are we going to evolve to that level to let go of bigger things, to lighten our lives, to feel more peace, more ease, and more joy? She says an interesting thing is, imagine what your clothes would feel like because of the way you treat them. I thought that was brilliant. Because some of my clothes are suffocating, being trapped so tight. You ever have your closet so tight that on hangers, you have to reach in there and pry it out? I mean, I've got stuff folded, just wrapped up, stuffed in places. Could you imagine treating our stuff like that? Treating ourselves like that? One of the things about not letting go is to realize things come into our lives for a reason, season, or a lifetime. And sometimes things that were good and important to us in terms of clothing and other things were there and they did what their job was. Now we just need to thank them, honor them, and release them. And for the things that are there is to treat them a little better, a little more space. Maybe fold them and take care of them a little better. Because it's about honoring our stuff, but it's really also about honoring ourselves and the kind of life that we really want to live. So that letting go and discarding part is really powerful and really important. And then the final one, this one is the money shot, because this one is, so how do you decide what to let go? Is it expensive in style? I mean, what is the measure? And her measure, I just love it. Her measure is this. She says, take it in your hand, every single piece, and ask this question: does this bring me joy? Does this support me in the kind of life I want to live? That to tune in and ask yourself that question, because that's really what the goal is, to bring you more joy, to do better self-care, to bring the best of you out, to live, to make a difference in other people's lives. So suddenly the measurement is joy. That's the standard of should I keep this or not keep it. So even when I'm doing my half a closet on Friday, what I noticed was the same, yes, like it, don't like it, stain, blah, 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 out in, asking the question, does this bring me joy, was a totally different mindset, a totally different experience. And I could connect, regardless of how it looked, of is this for my highest good? And I realized I was making choices to support me and to build a better life, to build a more joyful life, not picking what looks good or blah, 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 although that's important too. But anyway, and that tuning in at a deeper level, I found profound. You know, we do things like people do muscle testing. They'll touch a banana and they'll do this muscle testing, or touch a donut, and then, you know, and we'll go in it for guidance about, should I make this investment? Is this the right relationship I should get into? We do that. And I never heard anybody do it with clothes. And yet I thought it was brilliant. Because you know where a successful life begins? In here. And if we can't do it in our own home for those things, how are we going to let it filter out to other places? And so to me, I found that profoundly important and moving. My mom always used to say this phrase, guard your mental house. Don't let anything into your mental house that's negative or less than you are and want to be. Well, guarding your house is to guard it from things that take your energy down or you don't like. We have the authority to say yes or no of what comes into our sphere and our surrounding. And why not only pick things, whether it's clothes or whatever it is, that make us feel good, that support us and help us express the spirit in us even greater. Marie Kondo asks this question, says, can you continue living with clothes that don't give you pleasure? Or seeing a pile of unread books that really don't inspire you at all? Or wearing accessories that don't make you happy? She said the correct answer is no. Because we have the choice and the power to choose and select, to hold on to and to let go of things that only serve us in the greatest and best way. You know, this isn't just about cleaning up. To me, it's a microcosm of life. But if we want our lives to get better, we need to be aware of what we have. You know, we need to be responsible for the choices that we've made. We need to reassess and then reset. You know, clutter is a sign that an area in our lives have gotten a little crammed, a little crowded, we've gotten a little disconnected, and it's an opportunity for us to choose again and to create a better system that'll support us in greater ways. Tidying is more than spring cleaning. She actually says it's an inner dialogue with ourselves about who we are, how we're showing up, what we're doing, and how we really want to live and support ourselves in a greater way. This week, here's your assignment. Take all of your clothes from all of their locations, throw it on your bed, see how high that pile is, and to make some choices. Take each piece in your hand and ask, does this spark my joy? And if it doesn't, thank it for the role it played and the way it helped you, and let it go. And then for the things that do, support them and care for them in a greater and more wonderful way. Tidying up our closet and our stuff is really tidying up our past, cleaning up our space, and creating greater ease and flow in our lives to bring us more joy. Tidying up will change and transform. Tidying up is magic. It really will transform our lives. But it starts at home, it starts with us, and it starts by getting your house in order. God bless you all.